Okay. Hey, everybody. Hi, guys. How are you doing? It's episode 120 of this year's stream. Okay, a little moment of clarification. I talked about this yesterday when my very special guest was on, but I thought I'd go over it again. I'm numbering today I'm numbering the streams with the title One Page Story Extravaganza. I'm calling everything that because it's really kind of what I do. So rather than continue using Everybody Wants to Listen to My podcast, we're just putting everything under the same banner. Okay. So the first year in 2022, I did Nobody Wants to Listen to My podcast. Then I did Everybody Wants to Listen to My podcast. So now we're doing One Page Story Extravaganza. It's just as the blanket thing. So I had a notion about changing it each year. I'm not going to do that. Anyhow. So, got some news about the new book, as you can see up above. Let's get the logo off. We're underway. Tonight, we are sitting down and going through all of the paperwork necessary to, get a book put together with the publisher. It's actually a crazy amount of material that you have to do, and I mean. I can walk people through the process of putting a book together and getting a book made, and this, and the things that you need to do to get that allocated regionally around you in shops, and going through consignments, and how you take consideration for all those things in your pricing and your production, and how you go about distribution as an independent regionally. When I mean regionally, like surrounding cities. In my case, it'd be southwestern Ontario. In your case, it might be your state. Do you know what I mean? And that's a lot of driving. And honestly, from a business standpoint, if you are doing that, you got to calculate all the gas and the cost of that. I mean, if you've got things where with your day job or with your life, you're going to places, bring copies of your books with you. Because actually you can take some of your trips and some of your holiday and count it towards business expense for claiming at the end of the year, simply because you took your books to whatever the closest bookshop, comic shop was in that area. Silly stuff like that. So if people are interested in that sort of stuff, I can walk people through a great deal of things. But the thing that we're going through right now about setting up One Page Story Extravaganza as a hardcover to be printed and sold online, it's a completely new element for me. So, I can walk people through that process as well if they're interested, while we're doing it. But I'm learning as we go. So, okay. Today's page is a 3-prompt page. The 3 prompts are Groundhog, Car, and The Hobbit. Right? It's pretty straightforward. So this is the original pencils that I did for the page. Cleaned up and then bordered and colored and textured. And then, of course, the text. Just as an aside for a moment, when I do the books, where I do the stories, honest to goodness, I have a rough structured plot. I have a page plot. So if it's a multi-page book, I have a structured plot for what needs to happen from the beginning to the end, key points. And then I have a page structured plot, which would be what needs to happen in each page. And then, I draw the page, allowing myself the fluidity to know that I just need this action to happen here without the specificity of text and things like that. And so then when I've drawn the art, as I'm in the process of drawing the art, the dialogue comes out, because as you're drawing somebody expressing something and the key moments that you need. So, the upturn, downturn in emotions and things like that. But the dialogue I don't write in advance, because for me, this isn't how it works for everybody, but for me, if I have everything planned in advance, I will not do the project. This is why I don't want to work from scripts. This is why somebody says, here's my script, do it. No, largely because it's too static and there's not enough. I lean heavily into my intuition when I'm working, and there's none of that play when you just draw what you got written for you. I think that there's a couple of personal bias in that too. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think that it's a visual medium, so if you're writing, you had better know how to draw. And honestly, if you know how to draw, why are you drawing? Well, I want to be a writer. Okay, good, go be a writer. But it's a visual medium, right? So I don't want to draw scripts. I'm not interested in just following somebody else's vision that they can't, put down on paper. It's a challenging thing to say that, and it's not that I dismiss and disrespect everybody that does just write and specifically writes comics. I just don't get it. That's all, and I never will get it, by the way, because from my headspace and in my weird way of thinking, I just don't get it, So that's why I can't write scripts. That's why I can't, that's why it's a one-page suggestion or idea. And because it's an idea, it's something that it's the interplay between yourself and the person's, suggesting an idea or submitting a proposed notion of some kind. So that for me works great, Am I missing stuff? Oh, Didi's here. Hi, Didi. Welcome aboard. So when it comes, that's the structure for long form. And anybody that's joining now, I just go through the structure of how I plot a long form story. And when it comes to a one-page thing, here's the notion, here's the idea, here's the suggestion or the subject. And I've done enough of these things that with people engaging with them that you see, I just start drawing a thing, one of these elements of whether it's the contextual scenario, whether it's one of the different specific parts of it, like a car, right? And then as I'm working through it, the twists, the turns in the plot comes through. So while I'm drawing that, then the dialogue comes through. So it's the exact same thing, just in a one-page format. So that's why I do text last. And because through the process of the drawing, the coloring, the rest of it, is where I really edit myself and bandy about ways of saying things. Because when you're writing, vernacular is really important, and alliteration is important, and all kinds of different parts in the writing process, build in that. So that's why it takes place the way it does for me. And again, because it's a primarily visual medium, the way that I'm going about telling stories, there are things that I've drawn that I don't have to say now. Like, I've got this book. If he's holding up a book, you don't have to say, I've got this book. It's as simple as that. So if you're doing it from a writing, here's a script. I have to hold up a book saying, I've got this book. No. That's why writers need to be able to draw or have some idea. Because if they don't, they're going to give you scripts that say, I've got this book, and then a description of having the character hold up the book. So, I'm missing stuff. Didi says, that page was cool. This page, the one that's up now, with the 3 prompts, is that what you mean, or do you mean the page from before that? Because I can see if I've got what that was. See what I mean? I'm going through things so fast that I gotta remind myself what page. What did I do? Oh, this one, the big city streets of Toronto. Thanks. Yeah, it was a fun one. I'm trying stuff with coloring with this page, And then with the following page, it's a similar stylistic approach to coloring. It's just with a very different palette. And like this is, my pencils are really tight. Like when I'm drawing, I tend to, what I put down is what it's going to be. It's just literally a case of going over it with ink or transferring it into ink. So it's a bit of stretchy, haphazard, seat in my pants kind of a way of doing it, but I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. I really appreciate the suggestions and stuff that everybody throws in, and or the 3-word prompts, and it's a lot of fun, this sort of process. And again, I put that out that I encourage. I'm going to get drawing in 2 seconds. I apologize I'm taking so long, but again, I encourage, if there's anything that we've done as a 1-page comic, because I tell you, I describe in the text matter with every post that I do what the suggestion was for this page. If you see some suggestion or 3-word prompts or whatever it is, and you want to do it, please do it. I would love to see it, because it's not going to be whatever woo-woo is going on in this head that's going down on paper. So I truly would enjoy the idea of watching your creative output take shape and get down on paper. Oh, I've got the book out because I like reading stories too. Giant Sloths is done. I'm checking off our Hobbit Groundhog car is done. I think I'm going to have to ask for 3 new prompts. I think I'm out of prompts I'll have to ask for those on Wednesday. No, I don't. No, that's not true. That is not true. I have Beetle Hourglass Trains. That'll be the next one. Okay, so let's see what we got. I guess Alyssa Sawyer has got a suggestion here. Cat and Paste has got a one-man comic, or a one-man, or holy camoli, 1-page man card. That could be fun. Why don't we do that? I'm going to write it down so you don't hear me repetitively mispronounce it. 1-page man card. And this is a suggestion from Cat and Paste during somebody else's stream, not even on this stream. A certain Mrs. Willingham stream. She's got a really fun community. All right, so 1-page man card. Yeah. So that being said, if anybody ever has questions about process and how I go about with decision making in my storytelling, if there's ever anything I can do to help people with that. See, I've always had a challenging time because people tend to ham hock you as artist or writer or painter, or you know what I mean. And somebody told me what the description is for medium multidisciplinary the other day, and pertaining to me, they said it pertaining to me, and I thought, well, I don't know about that because I know what that term means. But somebody said it's polymath. I don't know that it is right. Okay, so I'm just going through some paper here. I'm going to switch the camera now. This is the music of the day is Who's Next by who? Okay. So I can draw today on a gray cardstock, or I can draw on this craft paper. Either one I'm fine with. And it's a cardstock as well, the craft paper. I'm good with either. I've been debating on what to use, though. I was thinking of using graphite, so I don't know that it would really show up on the craft paper. As silly as this sounds, this is one of those. It's a sound I like. There are sounds that we do like and sounds that we don't like. Like I hate the sound of people chewing. So, okay, well, here's what I'll do. I'm going to pick out this gray page to start with. How's that? And we'll start working on something. One-page man card is today's one page is the suggestion. Jesus. Okay, so, yeah. The one-page man card idea is really funny to me, and part of the reason that it's so funny to me is that I mean, I can do it at this size, or I can do it 11-17. Does anybody have any preferences to that? Because either way, in the words of Lionel Richie, I'm easy like Sunday morning. Whew. First time drawing a line. But the challenge with 11-17 is that I don't have great cardstock at 11-17. So that will change things. Okay. Wow. I'm having the biggest difficulty in getting lines there. Boy. All right, so here we go. We got rough frame on everything. Today's page is one-page man card. So, yeah, what do I do with that? I don't know. I don't know. Take a look and see. We got that book when we were in Toronto. This is the facial expression book that I picked up in Toronto. You know, I've been utilizing the faces on the cover before I go into the book more, just because there's so many fantastic expressions here. And I think I have found a face that we're going to start with, which may well not be the face that people may have thought I'd use. So, which is extra fun. Okay. All right. So I'm using this face. That's my big face that I'm using. It's where he's going. Right? Because we're talking about what we're talking about. Let's find the most egregious man we can find. All right. So here's our face, just so you can see it too. And just to have some fun with it, it's a man card. So let's lean hard into the whole man's man. What's a man thing? Jesus, pick a random page. You already picked one. Okay, you wanna here? All right, I'll scroll through. All right, let's have a page. Or let's have a panel. If anybody wants to vote on panels off this page, I'm good with that. I mean, immediately my head picks things out, you know, because some of these are absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so here's what we got to choose from. If anybody has a vote for the first face for our man card, one-page man card is today's story. And Dee says, no, go with the one you wanted. Okay, I'm good with that too. Anybody else? Bueller? 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 No? Okay. I'm going to mark it anyways, just so that we can come back to this page if there's something that's stuck out for somebody. So, don't want to leave anybody feeling dejectified. I know that's not a word. I know. All right, so I don't know about you, but sometimes you just, and this is largely because if you try different things, I get compelled to different materials to use each day. Like for some reason, as I'm, typing out the text on the page and sending out the next page, I'm like, I want to draw in pencil now. Like there's a real, part of my process that works that way. So that's how I woke up today at 6:30 a.m. Actually, it was 5:30 a.m. One of the kids helped me out getting up and said, "Hey, drive me to work, Jack." I said, "My name's not Jack. You call me by my proper name, Mr. Runciman." So, thanks everybody for your kindness and your willingness and acceptance that Lori joined me as my guest yesterday, my wife, and spilled all the beans, told all my secrets. It was really great to have her on. It was it was really fun having her on. It was kind of nice that you guys were so encouraging and accepting. Lori was awesome. Thanks, Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. That's very nice of you. Yeah, it was kind of interesting because I talk about like the community here, and I'll mention people's names, and she said it's kind of neat that as people pop up and interact as we're chatting, and so that's exactly what I've been describing to her of how everybody engages with each other. So that was great. So I'm just using a standard old HB pencil. I have to look and see what kind it was. Yeah, okay, just make sure I'm not missing out on stuff here. The standard thing applies still for anybody that's joined us today. If there's a weird random idea that you think might make a funny, like that'd be a funny looking page, or even something that you're rattling around with in your own head. Let's jam. Let's try to figure out how to find a narrative out of that and pursue that, the story that's inside there. It's a weird way to describe it, I'm sure, but I'm always keen to try new things. The paperwork part that we're in the process of doing right now, and getting things together with the publisher is it gives you clarity about a great deal of things. So there's Lori. She says, "Hi, Dee, you're awesome." She's checking in on me. You better be drawing, monkey boy. That pencil molder on that paper. I find that I make more mistakes drawing with regular pencil. I think it's because it's so ready to be erased out, and that availability of erasing things makes me be less diligent about my line making. Thanks, Lori. Christopher was always a gentleman. Speaking clearly, I got clarity, responsibility, expectation. No assumptions written on post-its and taped on my monitor. Boy, oh boy, that's a heck of a post. Post it on your thing. There's something to be said for that, like the conscious awareness of these considerations. What? I taped on my forehead. Yeah, the tape that on my forehead's good too. Oh my goodness. All right. What's happening? Purseless lips. Here's the trick of drawing pursed lips. You ready? Don't do it yourself while you're drawing it if you're doing it live in camera. There's a natural tendency when you're drawing things to emulate, like the human face, just for you to emulate those expressions with your own face, and it's tricky not to do that. So it's a perfect opportunity for a freeze frame of you. Make the funny face. All right, let's come together okay. Except for I'm missing on some of it. He says, go through the book and make all the faces. Today's face is. Oh my gosh. It's just, this scar people. Hey, look at this guy's stream. Let's check this out finally. What is he doing with his face? All right, so we're almost done. This guy's cute little pudding. Oh yeah, the Hitchhiker's. Oh, the Hitchhiker's Guide to a VW Ride. Oh, what a great title! That is such a great title. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Dee Dee. I'm glad you liked that. That was a lot of fun. You know, just having a groundhog drive the car. I love things like, I'm not going to explain why it's a groundhog driving the car. I love that. That's some of my favorite stuff. Is to just to draw that, just to have the groundhog driving the car, and without explanation. I mean, it's just part of the story, and the whole point of any of those any of the aspects of the story, like that being a groundhog behind the wheel, they're just a piece of the whole. Like sometimes you'll find in stories where they just spend too long explaining, well, why is this guy driving a car? How did that come about? Like one of the funniest things in Guardians of the Galaxy is that they introduce all these random characters, and then they introduce their what's their deal, and just this random raccoon talking smack to his buddy the tree with zero explanation of that is far funnier. And then when you find out about how dark this guy's whole situation is and the wherefore and why of it, it resonates more because you've already got engaged with some of that silly character. So I kind of like that. I kind of like just putting a groundhog driving a car and not really getting into an explanation as to why. I mean, if that story was to continue, yeah, sure, we got to explain why. But for right now, it's a groundhog. I mean, the joke that was missing here was when he looks down the window at the Hobbit. Oh, there you are down there. I could have fit that joke in there. Hi, Christopher. Everybody, how you doing, Janet? Welcome aboard. Oh, there's Chandler the Handler. How you doing, sir? Welcome aboard. So yesterday's page was fun. That was. So that's why I'm pulling the white in, because I think that the pursing of the face works with the highlight, not just the shadow. It sells better when you've got both sides of it. It makes the mouth purse a little more, I think. I really enjoyed Pictionary yesterday. I really thought that was a lot of fun. I got to play that yesterday. That was super drawn too. Everything looked like, you had all the information there for what people needed to guess. It was a lot of fun. We happen to attend more of those. I realize that some of my guesses are completely ridiculous, but I'm just saying what I see. This boy needs a pencil extender. I have pencil extenders, but they've already got pencils on them, and it's a lot of switching. Married as Lori, Christopher's missus. Uh-oh. Word's out. and it says, "Hi, Lori, nice to meet you. I need to get a snark version of Pictionary." I think that's called My Answers. How many different ways can you draw bite me? Yeah, you got me thinking about it now. That'd be tough, too. Okay, so here's our first face coming in. So today's page is a one-page man card. So the whole page is going to be a man card. Now, for those that aren't aware, a man card. Like Judy, like a good child, I went and edited my Instagram. Anything to keep you from whining. For anybody that doesn't know what a man card is, on a certain person's stream, they will bring out a number of their Barbie dolls, and they will showcase the Barbie doll photography or the Barbie doll ephemera that people are sending each other. And because they recognize that a percentage of their viewership is fellas, in order to spare the fellas from rolling their eyes and having all kinds of nervous breakdowns, because, oh my goodness, Barbies, she puts a man card up on the thing, and people send in different man cards. And so I think that's a fair explanation. I sent her in a print of the monkey card that I had lino cut with the grandkids, and so I sent one of those in as a man card. And occasionally it'll pop up, and it's very fun. It's mostly for my fellas. And of course, my man card is a picture of a monkey, and he's actually smelling his own armpit, just because I thought it was appropriate. Let the toxicity begin. Nice. Jesus. Janet thought up a good idea for my man cards, Christopher. I'll show them tomorrow, although she doesn't want to take credit or blame for it. I need to draw another Monster Man card about sandwiches. Oh, I respect anything about sandwiches. I might have a thing for sandwiches. Okay, so this is the part that I was talking about at the start of the stream today. So the dialogue and titles and things like that sort of come to me as I'm working on the page, on the art, and I just start with an image and off we go. And so this one immediately comes to mind as because the page's suggestion is one-page man card. I think that definitely has to be incorporated in the title. So the first thing I thought of to put a picture up above, or to put some text up above this guy's head as he's presenting himself so nobly, was "For I am a man." That's my thinking on that one. Have to go to a meeting. Fun to be here. Hey, have a great meeting. I don't think that collar's high enough. I'm going to make that collar higher. Get that little line out there. Okay, so here's our first panel. I think I'm gonna put a black highlight line around our character here. And then of course I'll fill that volume in as black. Is the meeting being married to a creative? Is it about that? Oh, I hope not, poor girl. Come back. So nice of you guys. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. So one of the first things that I've had to do for this stuff for the publisher is I've had to come up with an elevator pitch of what I do. Right? That's a tough thing to do. I mean, but not for some. For some people, it's like, well, it's just this. And they spit out hot fire, right? Whereas with me, because my dialogue is so perambulatory, you know, it's challenging for me to just sort of identifiably isolate down to this is it. This is the gist of the thing. So that was a challenge. I think we got something though. It's hey Chris, so great. You draw stuff. You like me good. Go buy book now. Go buy book now. That's what I've come up with so far. That's not true, but you know, it's more fun. All right. Oh, happy day. I kind of like the idea of the opaque black and how it sort of stands out, like it sort of pushes the background and the foreground away from one another. Right? That's a lot of fun to me. TD says, "Do you want to test it out on us?" I don't know. Are you guys keen to that? Because I can try. I have to read it because my memory doesn't work so good that I can remember anything I might have read or wrote. There it is. Okay, here we go. So this is what we're going through things that people have said about the one-page comics, or specifically, and stories, and about the lunatic that draws them and writes them. And so this is what we've sort of collaborated into a elevated pitch. Didi says reading it is fine. Oh, that's thank goodness, because that's going to have to do that. Just curious if we'll understand. I'm curious if we'll understand all the big words. I'm not that bad. I hope I don't come off as a jerk like that. Okay, hold on. I got the Who going. Okay, so this is the elevator pitch. That's just what they call. It's not like I'm actually. This is how I'm selling myself to you in an elevator. It's just this is the notion of the book. It's inspired by any suggestions or ideas that come his way. Christopher produces at least one finished page a day. He does this live Monday through Friday online. His work has been called a whimsically experimental approach to a committed wide range of storytelling, masterfully handled using a diverse array of mediums. These are some of the results. After reading through these pages, you will want to suggest an idea of your own for him to bring to life. That's it. It's supposed to be under a minute. I hope so, because I didn't write a lot. So that's the gist of it. Let's throw some Sharpie on this. Why the hell not? So yeah, I don't know if you guys think that sounds all right. Oh, thank you, Didi. Didi says that sounds good. And clapping. All right, thank you. I hope it's not too verbose. My thinking was that because it's for the publisher, because it's for the, somebody with an editorial background, right? Then just go for it that way. Oh, okay. What does it say? Read it 9 more times, or read it once more. Okay. Okay. All right. Inspired by any suggestions or ideas that come his way, Christopher produces at least one finished page a day. He does this live Monday through Friday online. His work has been called a whimsically experimental approach to a committed wide range of storytelling, masterfully handled using a diverse array of mediums. These are some of the results. After reading through these pages, you will want to suggest an idea of your own for him to bring to life. 9 more times, 8 more. Here we go. Because I did that wrong. I don't know. That's the thoughts. Anybody got thoughts on that? So stupid. The I would add live in there, live online. That's what Jim said. Well, I said he does this live Monday through Friday online. Or do you think it should change that to do he does this Monday through Friday live online? Because, I mean, as much as that sounds like a small thing, sometimes that's the necessity of how we link things in our brain. But maybe that is a better to say those two words connected. All right, now I'm just going to beef up the shape of the face a little bit more. I have to lean over because it's just pure glare for me. So we've talked about some of the objective directional stuff for what am I trying to put together and what do I need for growing this and improving what it is that I'm doing. we've had some discussion about that, Lori and I, and like better cameras and better lighting and figuring those things out. So there's some development on that front too. It's just it's important to do those things, but those are sort of getting put on the side because I've got to figure out all of the promotional stuff, and I'm going to need to look for opportunities to promote the book on people's things and people's other people's streams. And I mean that's a challenging thing to do because I'm so stuck in my own rut. Didi says that either way works. Okay, for the live and online part, thank you. Your publisher will let you know if anything needs changing, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, Didi's skipping. See you in a minute, Didi. It's you can only invest stuff in so many directions before you've emptied the coffers, right? There we go. I feel like that's getting it now. I needed to purse that bottom lip, to put enough accent on that bottom lip that it took a little more shape. So starting off with right out the gate with a guy blowing kissy face at you. Here's the start of our one-page man card. And the title for this is going to be For I Am Man. It's just so ridiculous. I better write it down before I forget. For I am a man. The challenge of producing a page like this is I'm not this kind of guy who's, hey, baby, That's not my preferred type of behavior. But this is about those guys. And so I thought this is the whole part about committing to the bit, right? Is that you really got to lean into the idea. So, I mean, this is a sort of crap. I'm a man, you have to listen. Now, there's such a thing as people listening to one another, but usually those guys that are saying it are like, listen to me, I'm the man. Oh, I know you're not. And if you have to tell everybody. Okay. Just making sure I'm not missing out on anything. So here's our first expression for today's one-page story. The suggestion being one-page man card. Okay. It's 1, 2, 3. Oh, good. Man card is something that you can throw in the air when the ladies around you are talking about things that boys don't like. You throw your man card in the air. It says, "Look at me. And Janet says, embrace your toxic masculinity. I will if I want to, Janet. See, I'm doing it. Look at me go. Okay. All right, enough of this guy. So I think we're going to need to hit some cliches here. I think we're going to need like the bodybuilder type. So we're going to have to do a little bit of that action going on in the background here. Because I think that's fun. I'm looking for a caveman pose. Got one. Okay. Now move this. Put that over here. Kind of looks like a guy who would smell his own armpit. Well, speaking of which, let's draw a guy smelling his own armpit. Why not, Chris? Why not, indeed? So I have an idea for this character because there's such a thing with this whole, macho guy, I got all these tattoos culture that's going on right now. This fella's, I'm drawing him here, the smell is on armpit, as Janet puts it, is going to have a fair share of the little trending tattoos. Funniest thing I ever heard somebody say about a bodybuilder was we were sitting there and chatting one day, and this fella with the biggest arms, I think that we had seen up until that point in our lives, just strutting by, and this friend of mine looks at him and goes, "How's that guy wipe his butt?" It's the most ridiculous thing to go through a person's brain when they see somebody walk by. That's how they reference their physicality. It's how does that person wipe their own butt? Does anybody know what my response would have been? It's probably just what you're thinking. He doesn't. Let's get into scatological humor. Well, thanks, guys, for listening to the read-through of the elevator pitch. It's very nice things there. Let me do that. I was really nervous about that because, I can stand if somebody says, "Hey, Chris is all that in a bag of chips," but including some of the things that as we included them. There's a part of me that's like, "Who's that guy? Hi, what happened?" So I'm drawing him with fairly disproportionate in the sense of what if you just imagine the odors and some odor lines. Oh my gosh. I don't even remember what I was saying. I got so sidetracked. That was so funny. Oh, I'm drawing them fairly disproportionate, and the reason that I'm doing so, and I really extending his anatomy, is because it just furthers the point, right? Lean into the point, lean into the bit. So much so that, you can only make one sort of association off of it. And that is extreme. People get extreme, that's for sure. Whether it's some people in the pursuit of their physical fitness, and some people in pursuit of, their self-image and their want to look a very specific way. I just discovered there's a lady who's had numerous surgeries in order to look like a cat. I thought, wow, that's a different approach. What are you thinking? Want to go get her hair done? Nope, I want to go get surgically altered to look like a cat. Uh-oh. The real Jim Shady, please stand up. Welcome aboard, Mr. Lewin. So this is why I'm drawing our incredibly over-muscled guy for our one-page man card. And I'm going to name him Brock. He got surgery to look like cat paste. When did you get altered to look like the paste? It's just a nom de plume, Jim. She's not really a cat covered in paste. Go back to the doctors. Get a refund. I'd like a full refund, please. Well, actually, you probably say this. I'd like a full refund, please. Right? And then you rub up against the leg. Okay, so here's our a beefy. Yeah, completely over the top of the musculature. So another way that I can separate the panels from one another is that the background of this one could be rather light in contrast to the page before it. It could be. I'll tell you what, 105. We're doing good. We're making the waffles. Give him a little goatee there. The facial hair, sign of trustworthiness. The goatee. What are you beeping at me for? That explains why I got a headache. Okay. Phone was buzzing saying, hey, Chris, you got a headache. I knew that. I knew it. Shut up, phone. Forgot that. Okay, where are we at? Okay, I'm caught up, everybody. It's a big deal for me. It's a tricky thing to be caught up. I'm going to have 100 people watching today's stream because of the beefcake factor. Beefcake factor. The page that I'm working on today is one-page man card. And the title of it will be, For I Am a Man. And I have to write the most vain, arrogant things. Okay, so there's that. Keep going. Should I finish off the rest of his upper body? Is anybody sitting at home saying, as they're listening to this weirdo talk, I'm not just here to look at the beefcake. Anybody said that? I can look at other things too, you know. Okay, almost there for this stunning pile of machismo. My cheese stands alone. Armpits. I mean, that's a great way to start the page. Men sweat a lot, like under their armpits. That's a good way to introduce this guy. I'm going through all this dialogue ideas in my head now about it. It's kind of ridiculous, really. When you're drawing an image and your brain starts thinking of different approaches to any given story that you're working on. Well, what if I went this way? Well, what if I went that way? Well, this feels like something serious, or this feels like something to be silly about. All those different little ideas and thoughts and questions that kick in your head as you're working on the image itself. It's challenging, right? Like it's. I respect anybody that can get their solo books out there. That's, boy, it's an awful lot of individual responsibility to do that. And good for you. Janet says, hi, Jim. Janet says this guy has stinky armpits, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's fantastic. I was just about to say, this guy definitely has road rage. The stinky armpit things. Oh yeah, so. Smell my pungent scent. Am I not aromatic? This is why the title of today's page is going to be called, I'm a man. I should finish this page with a picture of Sam. What's his name from the guy that was in, The Big Lebowski, and says, he's the guy that orders a sarsaparilla. What's that actor's name? Does anybody know? Sam something or other. Not Sam Elliott, because maybe it is Sam Elliott. Yeah, it might be Sam Elliott. Well, anyways, could I have a guy on here that sounds like that, or just Sam Elliott himself that says, that ain't the things that make up a man, hombre. Close the page out in that way. Or we can draw a whole bunch more beefcake on this page. Because I'm fine with doing that if that's what anybody wants. I seldom draw the physical types. Where is my pencil that desperately needs a pencil holder? My Cro-Magnon brow. Kind of forehead brow that says, hey, we used to do our best painting underground. Oh, that joke was so old it fell off my dinosaur. So I just want to see how this picks up pretty well in the camera. It's a lot of glare for me, but glad you can see it. It's just about getting the reflections on the Muskos. Question of the day. Do you have any particular deal breakers? I'm so sorry. When it comes to being attracted to someone, of course, I mean you are single, if anybody answering this. Is there any potential deal breakers when it came to finding attraction in somebody? For example, the person picks their earwax. I don't have a problem with anything of that, Jim. I think it's all perfectly fine. Bet my finger. Or they lead a Nazi rebellion. Janet says, I have examined a lot of male physiques in magazines, and I couldn't draw one this well. Christopher must have a lot more experience than me. I follow him around. That's right. Hold still, fellers. Now flex one of them muscular poses. That's very nice of you, by the way. I know a lot about the male anatomy. It sounds awkward. Been a while. Well done. My deal breaker is chewing. If they chew, I won't like them. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't like the sound of chewing. I like the sound of pulling apart, serrated things. But I hate the sound of chewing. or the visual of it actually as well. I hate the, when you see in a movie and it closes up on somebody eating on their mouth, and I'm like, oh, that's the whole reason for me never to watch a movie. Or not tobacco, just any chewing. Janet wants an AI who doesn't eat. Yeah, but then he steals all your heart. I know what these robots are up to. They want our jobs. Well, I say put them back across the robot border. Send them back to their robot overlords. It's funny when you see those sci-fi stories and it's set in the future and people are always discourteous to the robots. Always. They always are. Janet says, an AI who does my bidding is so enticing. All of the things you would have that robot do. Small crimes, Walmart assaults, front of the line on Black Friday. There we go. That's fun. Diddy says, if we know about AI then, and why they can do, it has all been done already. Oh, yeah, very, very, very much so. Oh, true that. Yeah, there's not an awful lot of originality in these cases, but because, people tend to have a lack of that, originality in general, right? We're always trying to find new things, but when it comes to artificial beings that are entirely programmed by existing things, even the things that they're going to produce, for the future, for whatever, they're still going to be somewhat encumbered by the ideas of what we could enter into it, what we could program it with. So they still have that biased foundation for productivity. That tends to be why a lot of the AI art programs tend to look somewhat similar. And there's always this sort of, Gary would know, what's it called about? It's a uncanny valley. I'm not saying anything like, oh, Gary would know all about this, other than the fact that Gary would probably recognize what I'm talking about. Christopher's correct. An AI that would go to Walmart would be worth his weight in gold. Whose weight? Go for the robots. They tend to be heavy. You could give it a really precious name that you might have always wanted to give a kid, like legally naming your robot Dingus. Get over here, Dingus. How great would that be? Okay, so here's our beefcake. So I'm going to do a little bit of fun here. A bit of fun in the sun. Ooh. I'm going to have this here muchacho popping right out of the drawing. Hey, Chris, we're actually getting tornado warnings my way in the GTA Golden Horseshoe area. We had tornadoes last week, like just maybe it was even this weekend. But yeah, there's some serious inclement weather in the area, and it's all relatively related to the fires that happen there. So it's churned up a whole bunch of different forecasts and outlooks that we don't normally see. It is odd for Canada in certain parts. In other parts, like the Canadian prairies, are really no different than the prairie states, right? So they have a very similar kind of weather to that, except for the tundra tends to be more grassy. The Great Plains tend to be a little more grassy, but we, yes and no, we do get them not a lot, but we definitely can get them. Woodstock, Ontario, Canada here, it got walloped one year, just got walloped, and made quite a bit of mess. The most recent one I think is Goderich, Ontario, which is on one of the lakes, and it got seriously messed up. Like there was a lot of damages in those towns, but specifically Goderich, they lost like a great deal of roofs and things like that. So, okay, here we go. What do we got? I would name mine Mai. That's what you would name your robot, or are we talking about? There's a tornado. You want a tornado, Janet? So everybody could say, "Damn it, Janet." Yeah, I think that we can start with the over masculine silliness, and then more and more just beer belly gut, and end with some kind of ape smelling his own armpit. I've been watching a lot of streams, and I'm trying to get out there and watch more and more of people's streams and their processes and how they're doing what they're doing. So you're probably going to find instances, people, where, did he just like a stream I did a year and a half ago? Maybe. And it's only because I just, what's the topic? And there's the random topic, and up the stream that old comes along. Okay, Jenna would name her AI Butthead or Ski Cat. Which one to choose, huh? Well, if you train either of those to, walk around with you perched on your shoulder, it sounds a bit less eccentric if you're, sitting in a public place going, "That's right, Butthead, we're going in to see the vet." Although there is something funny to getting mad at a pet and shouting, "Butthead! Butthead!" as it runs away and ignores you. How are people going to help you? What do we got? 124. So I think that what I'm going to end up doing with this page is, because the idea for the page is one page man card, I think I'm going to play more and more into silly little associations, stereotypes, or, and this isn't some ridiculous postmodern dissertation. I'm talking about like just the silly things. It's, what is that? That's called I'm trying to think of something here. The two cousin argument. It's where you've got two different relatives. In this case, I'm talking about two different approaches to stuff. And there's the city version and the country version. And the city version is hard pressed to do some of the things the country one does, and then the country one is hard pressed to do some of the things that the city one does. And so one of the things about watching a lot of other streams and trying to learn how people do some of their things is that it really makes me want to try different things and to sort of bring them into the mix, making a little more complexity to what I'm doing. But it also is too much complexity for the robots. Well, that's not why. Or I'm sorry, the buttheads, as Janet calls them. Janet, you'd have to name all of them the same thing. Butthead 3000. Putting an intense look on them. Intensity. New things. That's what I name my AI. New things. You can do it. No, I'd probably name it Marvin. Does anybody? Well, I think Didi will get this reference, but does anybody else know the reference of having an AI named Marvin? One of the funniest things in the books that the Marvin reference is from is we found that doors were relatively dissatisfied by people not appreciating when they go through them, as much as they enthusiastically enjoy people walking through their confines into the next space. And they always go, that's what we need to do to our AI. We got to make our AIs enjoy all of the really sundry, nobody wants to do it as a human being jobs. So therefore, you're stuck with it, robot. Just so that we can either produce some happy doors or some Marvins. Welcome to the bathroom. That's the kind of AI we need. Not like the Star Trek door thing, right? Like that. You were showing a thing off on your channel the other day, and but you also need that door to go, every time it opens and closes. All right, so we started getting our beefcake guys down. We're at 1:30. I got to get a couple things going here. So I will be back tomorrow. If anybody has a preference of a medium that they want me to draw in for the next page, let me know, and we'll give it a crack. Take a look at the last few pages I've done, just so I'm not always like I don't want to do the thing I did yesterday type thing, right? Just shaking it up. But if there's a certain specific medium that you see that I've used that you want to see me do more of that, put it in the comments below the video, and I want you to drive in giant markers only. Okay, Jim. Looking good. I'm missing. Looking good, Christopher. Posca has giant markers. Draw! I can't say that second name because some damn thing will turn on in the house. No, look at that maniacal laughter. Look at that giant marker car. There's a car in London that has a saw cutting wood on its roof. It's so random. It's like this little sort of like a little Tercel or some kind of tiny car. And it's got this big giant saw cutting through a piece of wood on the roof because they make frames. That's what they do. They're a framing shop. But to drive around in that car is one step removed from having the thing, designed as a giant, like a minivan designed as a giant dog, right? That's, what is that, Dumb and Dumber? Yeah, so, I love it. I love the idea of that, driving around in a giant marker-shaped car. Philip is doing a live thing tomorrow night. Okay, cool. What are you doing live tomorrow night, Philip? That was my Price is Right sound. Okay, yeah. So if anybody has any ideas, or if anybody has any suggestions of medium for me to use or anything like that, please feel free to put it in the comments after the video. I'm going to get doing a couple things I have to get done, and I'll get this finished and posted for crack it on. And tomorrow morning, I think Dee's got her stream. Is it Tuesday? Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yep. So please check that out. And then Philip mentioned his too. And hey, Jim, hand pink waving. Okay, that's the AI typing. Try to come up with a speech and then get an AI algorithm that come up with the same speech. It's fantastically ridiculous. A friend of mine showed me it. Yeah, it's just crazy. Just crazy stuff. They don't understand human. Okay, I'm off for now. Later, thanks. Yep. Rooster stickers. Well, cock-a-doodle-doo. If you get a chance, look at her Monday stream where she does that. Thanks, Christopher. Give my wife your my sympathies. Jim needs to make stickers. Oh man, would they sell like mad? Oh, for goodness sakes. I got some really cool postcards of Jim's and stickers. Oh, forget it. Those would be all over town, whatever town they go to. Okay, I'm gonna sign off for now and go and get to it. In the meantime, I hope you're working on some cool stuff. I'd love to see it. And if any of the one-page ideas that you see that I'm doing that you want to take a crack at and do your way, I'd love to see that too. In the meantime, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.